All right. So now we have rinsed off our shrimp and patted them a little bit dry, just because you don't want all of that wetness on there when you start the seasoning process. So here's what you need in regards of seasoning your shrimp. I have Tony Satcheries as well as Slap Your Mama. You can use either or you can use a little tinge of both. This is Cajun pasta, so I am going to actually use a little bit of both of those, just because Tony's and Slap Your Mama give me a little slight difference of flavor. So first we're going to go in with our parsley, and we are going to be pretty generous with this, with the parsley and with all of our seasonings. So that's our parsley. Now we're going to go in with our black pepper. Next with our Tony's. And I'm not going to use as much of these just because I'm using both Slap Your Mama and the Tony Satcheries. Next we're going to go in with our sazon completo. Be pretty generous there. And a little bit of garlic powder. I also like to use sometimes a little bit of Old Bay seasoning just for that kind of seafood flavor, because this is a chicken and shrimp Cajun pasta. So I am just going to use a little tinge of Old Bay seasoning as well and set that to the side. Now, I don't want to get my hands dirty right now, so I am going to take my spoon and to start mixing all of this up. And in the meantime, while I'm doing this, our cast iron skillet to my left is actually warming up, so that way we can go ahead and cook these shrimp. And please be mindful that it doesn't take shrimp long to cook at all. So we're probably shrimp will probably take no more than about 5 to 7 minutes to cook, just when it starts to turn pink. All right. That looks mixed pretty well, because we'll just keep in mind we are mixing and we are going to season every single portion of our pasta. So we're going to season the pasta once it's finished cooking, as well as our chicken. So let's move on. All right. So now we have our heated cast iron here. And I just put literally just a dot of oil in here. Of course, your cast iron skillet should already be greased down. But I just put a little tinge of olive oil in there just because I want these to sear more, just because of how quickly that they're cooked. So I'm going to go ahead and start placing these shrimp in here one by one. And then I will come back and show you once I have all of these shrimp placed into the pan and how they're looking. All right, now we have all of our shrimp placed into our cast iron skillet, and everything is smelling really, really good. We're just going to let them sit. You don't want to mess with them. You want them to go ahead and sear really well on one side, and then we'll go ahead and flip them over to the other side. Once again, please keep in mind that it does not take shrimp long to cook at all. So you can't walk away and start doing all kind of other stuff while shrimp is cooking. It cooks very, very fast, as well as most seafood does. So give me a second. And if you can see here, you'll start seeing it's starting to turn already kind of pink there on some of the tails here. So we are going to start flipping some of these over here, here in just a second. And also keep in mind that we do have our temperature set to medium-high heat. So you don't want your pan to be too hot, because we don't want to scorch them. We just want them to be a nice, we want them to have a nice sear on each side. All right, we are back. And as you can see, our shrimp is cooking very nicely. You see some of them have a really nice sear on them. And we're going to cook these pretty much all the way through. Eventually, of course, we are going to mix all of this up together. And it's, of course, with shrimp, it's going to cook a little bit more once it gets within the heat of the pasta and things like that. But we want to make sure that this is pretty much almost fully cooked. Flip a few of these over. I might need a little more time. And I will go ahead and get these put to the side. And we'll move on to our chicken and pasta. And this is what our shrimp looks like once it is complete. You see the steam coming off of it. Nice color, seasoned well. And of course I just have this put on a paper plate just because I ain't wasting no real plates and no real dishes while I cook this stuff. So I'm gonna throw this right away. All right, let's move on to the chicken. All right, as you can see here, I have 4 pieces of chicken breast tenders, thinly sliced is what they're called on the package. Yep, whatever. Here, they have already been, of course, washed off really well, cleaned. Some of the fat has already kind of been, I've already kind of sliced a little bit, some of the fat off to the sides and things like that. So here are some of our seasonings that we are going to use for our chicken. A lot of them are going to be the same repeat of the shrimp, except we are going to add in paprika, as well as a little bit of onion powder onto our chicken as well, along with the other seasonings that we used before. So let's go ahead and get this seasoned up. First, I am going to go ahead and start with the paprika, just because I love paprika on everything, and paprika gives a great color and a great smoky kind of flavor. And we are going to season our chicken on both sides, child. I don't know what kind of cooking y'all think going on over here. And I know, listen, I clean as I go, so all of this right here will be cleaned up here shortly. You will see. It can get a little messy while I'm doing seasonings, but that's all right. It's clean around here. All right, that's our paprika. Let's go in now with our garlic powder. And like I mentioned, we are going to season both sides of the chicken, honey. We don't want no dry, unseasoned chicken. We are going to go in with our sazon completo. And you can be generous with your seasonings. Go in with a little bit of slap your mammy. Just a tinge. Tony Satchers, just because we like spice. I try not to make it overly spicy just because Tim, he don't like a whole lot of spice, so I try not to put too much of the Slap Your Mama and the Tony Satchers. So at the very end, what I do is sometimes I might add like a little additional to my own particular plate, just so that way, you know, I ain't burning his mouth off. So we're gonna go in with some black pepper, parsley flakes, and onion powder, very generously. And I know some people gonna say, "Oh Lord, that's a whole lot of seasoning. That's too much. It's gonna be so hot." Listen. I am very well aware that this is a lot of seasoning, but this is how my folks cook. This is how I cook. I don't like unseasoned food. So yeah, it might look like it's a ton of seasoning on here, but you do have to realize once everything goes into your pan and things like that, you do lose some of these seasonings, i.e. when I go ahead and flip this little monster over a little bit, you're going to lose some of it to the pan. So yeah, I'm a little heavy-handed, but hey, that's how I cook. Moving on. And we're going to go ahead and flip these suckers right on over. And I'm not going to bore y'all with seasoning the other side. Just know we are going to season the other side the same way we did this. And I will show you once we go ahead and get these into the pan. All right, very quickly, I want to show you a little bit or a few of the ingredients that we're going to use for the sauce, because I don't use canned or bottled Alfredo sauce. We doing this from scratch. So here we go. We got some half and half, grated Parmesan, olive oil, linguine pasta is what we're using. We have a 4 cheese blend, which is basically, it says pizza style, but it's Italian blend, you know. This the Food City version. And then we have Colby Jack, which also includes Monterey Jack cheese in it as well. And then, of course, we're going to use butter also. And I'm not getting my butter out of the refrigerator right now because it ain't time yet. But these are basically the ingredients that we're going to use aside from that for our sauce. And I will show you step for step how we make the sauce along with our other seasonings also. Alrighty. Now, I've washed my hands again, of course, because you do not want to cross-contaminate any single thing when it comes to chicken and shrimp. We ain't got time for that, and I'm not trying to make myself nor my husband sick. And we ain't got that to do. Okay, so, of course, here's our chicken once again. So, I am going to go ahead, and, of course, this is the same spatula, but, of course, it is clean. Once again, no cross-contamination. So, I'm going to go ahead and actually... You know what? Let's set that right there. I'm gonna go ahead and just do this with my hand and set each piece of our chicken into the medium-high heat cast iron skillet. And what we are going to do is we are just going to let that sear and cook. You don't want to keep messing with your chicken or your meats or anything like that when you're cooking. You just kind of want them to set and cook, get that good sear, cook well through on one side, and then I will come back and show you once we flip them to the next side, and we will move on from there. All right. I want to kind of come back and show you how our chicken is doing so far. We are it's almost that time to flip them. See, look at that side. Oh, I'm going to give it a few more minutes, and then I'm going to flip them over. I want to kind of come over here and show you what's going on here in this pan. I have our water, salt, and what's floating at the top, that is olive oil. I like to put a little olive oil or what have you in my pot, so that way it helps the noodles to not stick together. So we're just waiting for this to come to a boil, and then I will stick my linguine pasta in here. Let those get cooked pretty well, and then I'll show you how we season our pasta up as well. Alright, we now have our chicken flipped over to the other side. I am going to clean this little sucker off before I actually take these out, just because I'm a little OCD like that. But you see how our chicken has great color on the side. And then once we get done and I take our chicken out and I let our chicken cool for a while, I'll probably wait until I get done with the sauce to cut the chicken into thin slices. Just because I don't want to, personally don't want to put our chicken in our pasta whole. I know some people that do that. If you just wanted to put the whole piece of chicken on top of your pasta, you can do that. But I prefer to cut mine up into pieces, just because it stretches and it goes a long way. And we have to eat these for a couple of days because I'm not cooking no more this week. So that's where we at.